Okay. What we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to make this cute little penguin here. We're going to do the first step though, which is just going to be kind of creating that basic outline. The first thing that we need to do is set up our artboard. So we're going to go up here to new file, click. Some of you may have custom ones put in already. That's great. You can use a custom one. If you don't see custom, go up here to the top and go to print. Click on that guy. And we just need to make some adjustments over here so that way we can get started. We want to change points to inches. Change that. 8.5 by 11 is good. We want our orientation to be landscape, not portrait. So we're just going to click on landscape here. Everything else here is fine. We scroll down. We have advanced options, which are these. You may not be able to see them. If you can't see them, just click here and they should pop up. We want our color to be RGB. That just means it's kind of richer colors that we're working with. You'll usually work in RGB. Hardly ever will you use the CMYK. This is fine. Just ignore this. We want it to be in high pixels per inch. And then we're going to do default mode, which should already be up. So once all this looks correct, we're just going to hit create. And boom, this is your artboard. It should be this nice little white page. So now what we're going to do before we get started on anything, we're going to make sure that we have it saved. So we're going to go up to this top bar up here and hit file. Okay. Scroll down to save. You can choose where you want it at. You can choose a folder if you have different folders that you would like to save it on. I always suggest saving it to your M drive. Where's my M drive? If you have a folder set up on there, just put it somewhere where you know you can get back to it. We're going to title it our name and penguin. I've made one before, so I'm just going to add a 2 there. And make sure you're saving it as an AI file. That is very important. And once you have it saved, named correctly, and where you want it to go on your file explorer, we're going to hit save. Oh, yeah, I forgot on my desktop. Save. Maybe. We'll just save it here for now. Okay. We'll save it over this folder. Save. Perfect. This guy will pop up. It should be good. It should look just like this. So all you need to do is hit OK. And now we have our artboard. The next thing we're going to look at is we're going to come over here to this little section on the right of our screen. Yours might be a little bit different, but you should have a properties panel, a layers panel, and then the libraries. Mostly we're just going to be working with our properties and layers. We're going to click on layers here. You'll notice that you have only one layer right now, which is fine. That's okay. You can see this little eyeball here. That just means if there's anything on your screen, we can make it visible or invisible. Let me show you really quick. Turn on a stroke for that guy. Okay, so we have this triangle on our screen. You go over to layers, click this eye, and boom, it's gone now. So that's just making, like whenever you put in a password and you want to hit view password, this just means we want to view the screen. We can also, right next to our little eyeball, go over to this little blank area and click, and a lock will appear. That just means we've locked our screen, so now we can't do anything on our screen at all. It just keeps it locked in place, which is really nice and handy. You can rename the layer, so you double click. I'm going to name this, I'll name this drawing layer. So we're drawing on it. And anytime you're working and you can't figure out why something is not working, just come back over and check your layers. You need to always just make sure that you're working on the correct layer as you get more layers going. All right. And now we're gonna go over some drawing. Let me get this guy out of here now that we're unlocked. We're gonna look over here at the left side of our screen at our toolbar. We're gonna start drawing with some shapes. Your shape should be close to the fifth one down. It may not be the polygon. We wanna work with a rectangle, so we just need to right click and pull up the rectangle tool here. And then we're just gonna click and drag and boom, now we have a rectangle. Okay. Anytime you're like, why can't I move anything with this? Why am I drawing a bunch of rectangles? All you need to do is just revert back to this top black arrow. It's kind of like your safety net. It's good for a lot of different things. It's good for moving large pieces around whenever you're like lost and can't figure out what to do. So always check this black arrow and check your layers just to make sure nothing wonky is going on. We're going to be working with the stroke, so we need to click on this rectangle here. We want the fill option over under our properties panel to be none. So you're going to choose this option here with the little red slash in it. That is none. Then we want our stroke just to be black so you can see it. And the point of the stroke should just be 1. So you can toggle it around. We're just working with 1. Once you get that all set up, let me zoom in here so you can see. We have these kind of little targets up in the corner. They're just corner options. If you click on it and drag, you'll notice that the corners all come in at once, which is really fun. Let's say that you just want to move one corner. We'll click on that target, and you'll notice now that the target is white, and this one kind of has a little blue dot filled in. So now if we pull on that target, it just moves the 1. Crazy, I know. And Control Z on your keyboard here is just undo, a quick short key for you. If we want to pull multiple targets at once, but not all 4, we can click on one, hold down on Shift, keep holding, click on another, and now they're both kind of that little white cleared area, and they don't have that tiny blue dot inside of them. That just means they're paired up. So now if we click and drag, it should just pull those 2, just like that. Okay, so this is kind of the shape that we're going for our penguin's body. You can click on it. You can make him taller using this little arrow that kind of toggles up. You can make him wider. It's whatever you would like. If you get your arrow, kind of your cursor in this little sweet spot here by the corner, you get that little toggle tool, which means you can just rotate it. But I want my guy to just be just like that. I might move him over here a little bit to the side of my page. Other than that, he should be good to go. Now we're gonna make our little circle here, the eye for him. So we're gonna go back over to our toolbar and go down to our shapes. I need the ellipse tool, so I'm gonna right click and then click on my ellipse tool. You can make fun little ovals, circles, lots of different things with the ellipse tool. We want to make a perfect circle. So I'm going to get this out. And then while I'm clicking and dragging, I can hold Shift and then it locks the height and width for me, which is really nice. So that way I know for sure it's a perfect circle. So I'm just going to kind of resize it. Sometimes when you start to resize it, you'll need to hold Shift again just to keep that height and width locked in. I'll move it into place. I want it to be kind of over here on the side of his head. We're going to draw the beak and stuff over here. That starts looking real nice right there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make kind of a little happy eye in here. So we're going to look around on our toolbar here. We need the arc tool. If you never ever see a tool or you can't find a tool, you go down here to these 3 little dots. We're going to click on it. Boom, it pulls up a whole bunch of tools here, just tons and tons of tools. We're using the arc tool, so we're going to click on that guy. But just so you know, before you click on that guy, sometimes you'll notice a tool is kind of grayed out, like this line segment tool is grayed out and I can't click on it. When you hover over it, you'll notice that on our little toolbar, the ellipse shape is highlighted. That just means that that tool is already on our toolbar and kind of just within that tool. Right now I'm going to click on my arc tool, get out of here. I'll show you really quick. Here's the line tool underneath there. Okay. We're just going to make a nice little arc, a little happy arc. Boom. Cute little arc here. I want my arc to be a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go over here to the points and I'm going to make it a little bit chunkier. Like that looks pretty nice. But I also want to round the ends of this arc. So over at stroke, you can actually click on the word stroke here. And there's different capping options for the end of your stroke that you've made. The normal one is called butt cap. The one that I want to use is called round cap. Just kind of rounds out the ends. And there's also projecting cap, which just kind of makes it a little bit longer from the normal one. But I want to use the round cap, so I'm going to click on that guy. It's looking nice now. Another short key is if you hold down on the spacebar, your cursor turns into this little grabby hand, and you can click and drag and move the screen around instead of using your little sidebars here. It's much faster. I'm going to toggle it, and I'm going to kind of resize it here, make it a little bit smaller so I can move it into his eye. Boom. Now we have this nice little eye here, looking really cute. The next thing we want to do is we're going to make his belly. So I'm also going to grab the rectangle tool again, pull it out. I'm going to adjust my stroke size back to 1 over here. Grab my arrow. I just want to curve one edge here, so that way it's like curved right over here. So I'm going to click on that target so it's white. I'm going to just pull it on in. Looks really nice. I'm going to grab that and move it on over. You'll notice that Illustrator here likes to try to move things around. That just means your Smart Guides is on. You can turn that off. I think it's under View here. Yeah. It's checked. That means it's on. That's your Smart Guides. You can turn it off. That just means Illustrator is trying to help you out and line it up where it thinks that you want it. It's useful sometimes, other times not so much. You can use your arrows on your keyboard to make little fine adjustments here. So I can move it over really nicely and kind of get it flush with those other lines I have made, which is great. I'm gonna make his belly a little bit shorter here. Okay. Perfect. The next thing that I want to do is I want to make a beak and a flipper and his tail here. So I'm going to need to use my polygon tool. So I'll go back over here to my shapes, right click so I can get a different shape. Click on my polygon tool. The default shape is usually, let me show you. Actually, I can't show you, but that's okay. The default shape usually will be a pentagon. Mine's a triangle right now just because that's the last thing I've used. To change what it is, you're going to just click once on your screen without dragging. And this little sides option will pop up. A triangle has 3 sides, so that's what we're going to put in is 3. Hit OK. And then you have a nice little triangle. I'm just going to kind of adjust it how I like it using the toggle tools, kind of making it smaller or bigger, moving it where I want it. You have a target too. You can kind of round his nose out here if you would like. I'll round mine out a little bit. Put it in there. There he has a nice little nose. To speed things up, if you know you're going to use the same shape, you can copy and paste things by hitting, make sure it's highlighted first, Control C for copy, Control V for paste. And now we have another one here. So I'm just going to move that in for his little arm or his flipper. Get it how I like it. And then I can paste this guy again, Control V. move it over here. I'm gonna make his tail kind of long, get that edge kind of flat. Pull it out, make it a little bit bigger, get that edge flat again. Boom. I'm gonna move it in. There we go. You'll notice when you start to resize things that your point might start to change, which is okay. We can just go back in and fix things up here. Doesn't matter a whole lot because we're gonna go back in and recolor it, but just so you can kind of see what's going on here, trying to keep everything the same size. Okay. The next thing we need to do is make his little tiny feet. So we're gonna go back over here. Oh, also before I exit out of the triangle, here we go. Your magic shift key does a lot of different things. If you hold shift while on the triangle and you're rotating it, it will move it in 45-degree segments, which is really great and useful sometimes. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Now we need to make our feet. We're going to use the rectangle tool. Boom. Make a little foot here. I'm going to click on that target option, pull it in, and then I'm going to go back to my black arrow before I move it. I can move it down here. I'm going to copy and paste it really quickly, so I need 2 feet. That way I'm not trying to remake the same thing. Pull it in, adjust the size of it a little bit. I'm going to move this guy out a little bit more. I'm going to adjust the size of this guy a little bit better. There. Looking really good. I just kind of want them staggered a little bit. That way when I go back in and color them, it works out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to give him some hair. So we need our line tool, which is also underneath our shapes. Line segment. I'm just going to make 2 little lines here. I'm going to hold the magic shift key. Wait, I'm going to go back to my black arrow first. I'm going to hold the magic shift key and select them both. Anytime you need to select multiple things, you hold down on the shift. It will start to select lots of things for you, which is wonderful. I want to make them both thicker, close to the size of my eye. There we go. And then we can do the same thing under stroke. We can change the capping over here. I want it to have that round cap on it. And then I'm going to move him over to give him some little hair here. That one. There. Now he has some nice little hairs on his head, looking really cute. I'm going to zoom out here. The next thing we need to do is just make the ground. I'm also going to have some water over here. So we're just going to go back over to our shapes, rectangle. Turn down the stroke. And I'm just going to make one underneath of him here for the land. And I'm going to make another one over here for the water. Sometimes you'll shoot way far down off the page with Illustrator. It's okay, don't panic. Control-0 will take you right back up to your kind of the center of your screen there for you, which is really nice. So if that ever happens to you, do not panic. You can get back really quickly. So now we have the ground and the water coming together. It's looking really nice. I'm going to add some blades of grass over here. So I'm going to go back to my arc tool. It's not up here to where I can see it. So I'm going to go back down to these 3 dots. Here it is. Click on it. And I'm going to just make a few blades of grass here. You can kind of shoot them up however tall you would like or however small you would like. You can make a couple different ones if you want. You can put some out here. Whatever you would like. Now I'm going to add some bubbles down here into my water. I'm going to go back over to our toolbar to our ellipse tool here. I'm going to make a couple of ellipses. Don't forget, if you want a perfect circle, to hold the shift key. I'm going to move this guy. make them a little bit smaller, move them out a little bit. I'm gonna use the Control-C, Control-V, so I don't have to make a bunch of circles. I'm just gonna resize them as I go. You can put as many bubbles as you would like. It's up to you. Let's see. Make one more. Nice. Okay. Now we've got some bubbles down here. Amp up the stroke size just so you can see them. There we go. Okay. Now we've got some bubbles down here. It's looking very nice. The last thing we're gonna do is give our penguin here kind of like a little sheriff badge. So we need to go back over to our toolbar to our shapes, right click. I'm gonna use the polygon tool. I want to make a pentagon, so I'm gonna click once on the screen, put in 5 sides, hit OK. Nice little pentagon pops up. And then I just want a star inside of here. Here's one of our little corner options. Round things out really nicely. I just want to put a star in here. So I'm going to go back over to our toolbar, into our shapes, and here's our star tool. The default on the star tool is always this generic star. You can also do the same thing like with the polygon, click once on the screen, and you can pick how many points you want your star to have. You can go crazy and add a ton. But I'm not going to do that. I just want the generic one. Move this guy over. If you're trying to center up your star in here and you just can't get it in right and you're like, what the heck is going on? You can come over here. We can select the star and the pentagon. They're both selected. We have different aligning tools. And you'll notice as you click on them, they start to just perfectly align things for you, which is really great. Super helpful. And now I'm going to just resize this guy, holding shift to keep it the shape that I want. I'm going to amp up the stroke again. There we go. Move it over here. Perfect. So now we have kind of the outline set up for our penguin. He has a nice little eye, tail, flipper, some feet, water, some grass over here. Everything's looking nice. So that is it for this first video. Yeah, and don't forget to save when you exit. So you'll hit this X up here and hit yes that you would like to save.